Hello everyone, welcome to Mentor Buddy. This is your mentor Akhil. Today we are going to discuss the question which is based on percentage. Coming directly to the question first. The question says an employer reduces the number of his employees in the ratio 9 by 8 and increases their wages in the proportion that is 14 by 15. The difference in the wages bill, if it was previously 1890 rupees, then it will be how much more or less, and the respective options are rupees 100 less, rupees 180 more, rupees 90 more, or rupees 90 less. Now in order to solve these kind of question, we need to understand the successive addition of the percentages. The successive addition of the percentages will play the important role in solving these kind of question. Now coming to the logic. The logic says, let's say there are three people, A, B and C. Considering that A is having a property worth rupees 100 lakh and he made the increment of 10% and sold it to B. So B, it will be costing rupees 110 lakh. Then further B again make the increment of further 10% and sold it to C. So definitely C, it will be costing rupees 121 lakh. Another case, let's say this is again 100 lakh property. So first A sold it at the decrement of 10% to B. So B, it will be costing a decrement of 10% and 100 lakh will be 10 lakh, that will be equals to 90 lakh. And further B is selling it at the further 10% loss, so C, it will be costing 81 lakh. Another case, A sold his 100 lakh property first at the increment of 10% to B. So B, it will be costing rupees 110 lakh. And further B sold it at the decrement of 10% to C. So C, it will be costing 99 lakh. 10% of 110 will be 11 lakh. 110 minus 11 will be equals to 99 lakh. Now understand what exactly is happening in this case. If the discussion would have been about the overall transaction, then 10% increment and 10% increment should be ideally 20% increment. But if in case there would have been 20% increment, 100 lakh property must have cost rupees 120 lakh, implies this 20% is wrong. Again 10% decrement, 10% decrement is 20% overall decrement. But in case if there would have been 20% of overall decrement, 100 lakh property must have cost rupees 80 lakh. So again this is wrong. Now 10% increment, 10% decrement should be no increment, no decrement, that will be 0% of increment or decrement. But in case if the property would have been at 0% of increment or decrement, then it have been costing rupees from 100 lakh to again 100 lakh, implies again this is wrong. So it says, the logic says two percentages are never going to be simply additive. In these case we are not going to add them simply. It is not going to be like A plus B. We have to add them successively, and successive addition is A plus B plus A into B upon 100. This is the form of successive addition. So we can see and mark one thing, in this case the increment or the hike is always going to be positive. We have to keep this to be always as positive. And in case if there is an decrement, then we have to keep always this thing to be as negative, implies in case of positive, sorry, the increment, we have to keep the values positive, and in case of decrement we have to keep the values to be as negative. Now clubbing to 10% increment, so that will become 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 upon 100, so that will be equals to 21%. On 100 lakh profit of 20%, 21%, or an increment of 21% will be 121 lakh. That is correct. Or we club two 10% decrements. So now this will be minus 10 plus 10 into 10 upon 100. That will be minus 20 plus 1 will be minus 19, implies 19% decrement. Okay, on 100 lakh 19% decrement will be 81 lakh. That is again correct. And final case, 10% increment 10% decrement will be 10 minus 10 into 10 upon 100. So that will be equals to minus 1, implies 1% decrement. On 100 lakh 1% decrement will be 99 lakh. So in this case we observed one simple thing, that we have to always add in these kind of cases percentages in a form of successive addition. That will be a plus b plus a into b upon 100, and increment will be positive and decrement will be framed to be as negative. Now applying the very same logic in our coming question. So it says an employer reduces the number of his employees in the ratio of 9:10, implies the number of employees, the decrement in the employees. So let's say the discussion is about the employees. So in this employees are becoming from 9 to 8, right? From becoming 9 to 8. So the decrement is of 1 in how much? 9. And in order to convert the same into percentage, that will be into 100. So that will be equals to 100 by 9% of decrement. Mark one thing, this is a decrement, reduction is a decrement. And the wages has been increased in the proportion from 14 to 15. Now this is the wages. So wages have been increased from 14 to 15. So there's an increment of 1 in how much? 14. And in order to convert this into percentage, that will be into 100. So this will become 100 by 14% of increment. So 100 by 9% of decrement and 100 by 14% of increment. So we can see we have to apply in this the successive addition, that will be a plus b plus a into b upon 100 to figure out the overall increment or decrement in the entire transaction. So considering, let's say this to be as a and this to be as b. Now framing these two values of a and b in this given expression, this will become 100 by 14, that will be a, plus b, that will be minus, because this is a decrement, that will be 100 by 9 minus a into b, that will be 100 by 14 into 100 by 9 upon 100, that will be a into b upon 100. Solving this, 100 will be ruled out. So this will become 100 by 14 minus 100 by 9 minus 100 upon 14 into 9. Now solving this smartly, first taking 100 to be as common, this will become 1 by 14 minus 1 by 9 minus 1 upon 14 into 9. Keep this 100 as it is, taking LCM to be as 14 into 19. So this will become 19 minus one second, let's solve this part once again. This is not 19, this is 9. One second. Right, taking the LCM now to be as 14 into 9. So top it will become 9 minus 14 minus 1. This will become 100 into minus 6 upon 14 into 9. Solving this further, this can be written as like minus 100 by 21. So overall we can see there's a decrement of 100 by 21%. There will be a decrement of 100 by 21%. Now we have to solve the difference in the wages if the previously it was 1890 rupees. Now in case of 1890 rupees, there's a decrement of another 100 by 21%. So by what percent the decrement had occurred here? So the decrement will be 100 by 21% of 1890. The decrement will be 100 by 21%. We can see the decrement we are getting here to be as like 100 by 21%. So that will be 100 by 21% is upon 100 into 1890. And solving this will become rupees 90 after solving this. So finally we can see that there's not an increment, there's a decrement of another 90 rupees, and that we can see is given as option 4th. That will be 90 rupees less. That's the correct answer. So we have to use the logic of successive addition of the percentages in this case.